It's cold in here. Got a robe and a jacket on with a shirt under. Before you guys say, oh, it's your apartment, why don't you change the temperature? I like to be bundled up. Enough said. So Dr. Eric Berg has 13.5 million subscribers. I respect the work ethic and consistency. Puts the doctor in front. Don't be fooled. He is a chiropractor. Tends to be the case for a lot of these nutritionists that hide behind labels. They like to trick you with the psychology of, oh, I'm a doctor, so you should listen to me, the authority complex. And I've reacted to him on short form quite a bit, but we're gonna go over his most viral videos, starting with 19 million views.
Question is, what would actually happen to your body if you really gave up sugar, completely, for 2 weeks? Let's take a look at that.
If you just got rid of sugar in your diet and you changed absolutely nothing else, you just lost it and those calories were gone, you would lose weight 100%. I know he's gonna say that, but if you replace that sugar calories with anything else, nothing will happen to your body. Shocker.
One, you are gonna lose your appetite to sugar. Why? Because every time you consume sugar, a hormone comes in there and pushes your blood sugars down, causing a low blood sugar situation, hypoglycemia to some degree, and that is going to cause you to crave sugar.
So he's talking about glucose spikes or insulin spikes. Insulin spikes in your body, no matter what you do. When you eat your food, it's a natural thing. It's supposed to happen. People always say they don't want their insulin spiking. And they say spiking insulin causes you to be pre-diabetic, things like that, and it makes it so if you spike it constantly, it's gonna be less efficient at spiking, so you become pre-diabetic or diabetic. Not the case. Not the case at all, actually. There's a really cool study that they gave people 2,000 calories every single day for 7 days. They ate 2,000 calories, 60% of what they normally would eat on a daily basis. So, in theory, a calorie deficit. They tried a bunch of different diets, high carb, where they spiked their insulin constantly throughout the day, low carb, so they didn't spike their insulin as much, things along those lines, a bunch of different diets. Nothing changed between them. They all just lost weight because it doesn't matter. It's just calories in versus calories out. So it's not sugar that's the enemy at the end of the day. If you're in a surplus of calories and it's coming from sugar, you'll be getting inflammation, you get the pre-diabetes, you'll get these things. But if your calories are controlled and you have portion control, and just because your sugar is spiking, you'll naturally be a little more hungry, which is the case. So if you spike it over and over and over again, people will naturally be more hungry and they eat more food, in turn eating more calories. But if you're able to control that, it's not a big deal. Look at bodybuilders, for example. They get as lean as possible. They have basically no carbs, no sugar at the end of their prep, getting super low in calories. You know what they do? They binge like crazy. Have you seen those post-show? They gain 10, 20, even 40 pounds sometimes. They do the 10,000 calorie days because you restrict yourself from something, you want to crave it more. It's just in our psychology. Think of a kid. Don't eat that candy. Don't do that over there. They're gonna do the activity. It's the same thing with food. There's actual research showing if you fear a food or you avoid a food, you're more likely to overconsume on it when you actually eat it. In the rest of your life, there's no way you're not gonna eat sugar. So, sorry for that long tangent there. Just very passionate there. It's not one specific thing. It's just your calories in versus calories out. I don't want people to fear certain things. I work with so many clients, and I've had a woman client specifically recently. She came to me, and she was so fearful of carbs because her coach prior told her it's only carbs. Only carbs that are making you fat. That's such an unhealthy mindset with food. So unhealthy.
Number two, you're gonna be less hungry. Until you do this, you won't really fully know, but I'm telling you, it's the sugar that keeps you hungry all the time. When you give up...
Agree to disagree. Like I was saying, if you spike your glucose over and over again, you'll naturally get more hunger, so you can overeat on food easier. So he is correct on that, but it's not sugar inherently. If you're eating just white bread or just sugar, then it spikes a lot. But if you pair it with a fat or a carb or even a fiber source, it doesn't spike nearly as much and it doesn't affect you. Or if you go for a post-walk, if you contract the muscle, just contracting it, that's why walks are great. They don't spike the blood sugar as much because of the fact that your muscle's using the glucose. So just go for a 10-minute walk post-meal if it is a very carb-heavy meal, and you won't get that hunger issue. And you'll get less bloating, you'll get your step count, you'll be a healthier human. So it's not inherently the sugar's fault or the carb's fault because our body literally doesn't know the difference between sugar and carbs. He's not distinguishing that because sugar's a bigger thing that people have been fearing for decades now. It's all over the ads. So he's making you fear sugar, not carbs, because it breaks down to glucose either way. Carbs or sugar, same thing.
When you give up the sugar, you become a lot less hungry. Why? Because you stabilize your blood sugars. And now your cells can be actually fed, because when you're living on sugar, because sugar is toxic to the body starts rejecting it. That's called insulin resistance. So the body is blocking insulin because that controls sugar, and what your body's really trying to do is limit the amount of sugar inside the cells. So
this is not it. I just explained it earlier. That is not what causes prediabetes and things like that, or diabetes in general, or insulin resistance. That is not what causes it. You spiking it constantly, like I said in multiple of those studies, it does not reflect that. Oh gosh, it's so frustrating.
The body doesn't consider it a good thing, it's a bad thing. So when you give it up, this thing can reverse, and not only can you now absorb proper amounts of fuel, you'll absorb nutrients a lot better too, because insulin resistance also blocks nutrients, minerals, vitamins, and that's one of the functions of insulin. All right, number 3, you're gonna have less fatigue, especially after eating a meal. When you're eating sugar on a regular basis, usually you're going to be tired after you eat, and that is a blood sugar thing. But you're going to find that you're no longer going to be that tired after you eat. It just means that now you're no longer having higher sugar, which basically makes the brain tired. It's normal sugar, and now your brain can be awake.
Agree to disagree again. If you just go for a walk after, yes, if you eat a very carb-heavy meal, you'll more likely just want to sleep, and a lot of blood's going to your stomach to help digest. So if you eat a very heavy meal in general, carbs or not, you're going to be more tired because you're digesting your food. To get past this, to fix this issue, get activity, go for a walk, even just do some calf raises, flex your bicep, just get the muscles to contract and you won't have nearly as big as a spike. I have all my clients, I call it a digestion walk, they call it a fart walk. We just do a 10-minute walk after every single meal. Gets your daily step count in. It makes it so you're just a healthier human. You get vitamin D if you go on walks. If you're with a significant other, you get more quality time. The list goes on and on. Just go for a 10-minute walk. It's an amazing thing.
Number 4, you're going to lose excessive water and fat. For the first week, you're going to dump a lot of water and some fat, but after that, it's going to be more and more fat.
So we know he's talking about carbs now. 100% he's talking about carbs. So if he was just talking about sugar, this would not be a statement. He's talking about carbs because you lose a lot of water. If you go on a fat loss journey, you cut the calories and they come primarily from carbs, there's things called glycogen. It stores in the muscle and it holds water. If you don't have nearly as much carbs, it's not gonna hold as much water and you're gonna lose a lot of weight and your muscles gonna look more flat. So this is the phase I always say to all my clients is the worst phase to be in. Right at your fat loss phase, your first journey of it, your first month, you're gonna look the worst you will ever look, because your muscles are not as full, so they don't pop as much. So pretend if there's a sharpness tool. You're making it dull. You're just dulling the effect on your body so the lines in your body are not as crisp because the muscle's not as full. So you're losing a lot of water and you're not really losing a lot of fat. You might lose 5 pounds your first week. That happens all the time because the muscle is losing its water. That's not fat. So it's not beneficial in any way. It just has to happen when you're having that many carbs. Your body's just full with water all the time and inflammation. So when you're lowering those calories and they're coming from carbs primarily because you want to have your protein and fats to regulate your hormones and get your protein into just hair health, skin health, nail health, muscle health, all these things. The list goes on and on. So you kind of want to pull from the carbs when you first start. So doing that inherently is going to make you lose that. But in his theory, if you just cut out sugar and you're still having normal carbs, come from fruit sources, things like that, or white rice, potatoes, any carb source, you're not gonna lose water because you're still full of carbs. But he's saying sugar, so his statement is false. If he said carbs, this would be a true statement, not fat. If you're not in a deficit, you're not gonna lose fat. Even if you pull all the carbs in history, you will not be losing fat. It's all calories in versus calories out.
You're gonna be surprised how much fluid you were retaining. Some people within 1 week can lose about 13 pounds of fluid. They're holding that fluid around, and that can't be that healthy for the heart.
I love how you said that with so much confidence. That can't be healthy. This can't be healthy.
Of course, you're going to see your clothes loosening, especially around the midsection. Your gut, your waist is one of the best indicators to tell if you're doing too much sugar. If you reduce the sugar, the stomach shrinks. If you eat the sugar, your stomach will expand. Okay?
If you are fearing sugar, this is building an unhealthy relationship with food. This is all this video is doing. Fear sells more than actual advice. So if you only make video making fear, don't do this, and you never give actual solutions, people will actually consume the content more. My buddy did a study on this. On his account, he started his videos with negative hooks, all the exact same subjects. He said the exact same thing. He just started with a negative hook or a positive hook. The negative hook 10x'd in views. So people are more fearful, they consume it more. Doesn't matter if it's actually helpful. So with his case, he's making you fear sugar, which is going to make you, let's say you lose weight. Let's say you followed his plan and you just eliminated sugar. Okay, you accomplished your goal. You lost a bunch of fat. You lost a bunch of these pounds of fat. You lost a bunch of them. Good job. Congratulations. What are you going to do going back to life? Normal life. You have a wedding. They have cake there. How are you going to fit that in your plan? It has sugar. What are you going to do when you go to brunch? What if it's your kid's birthday? What if it's your friend's birthday? What if there's a special occasion? You can't have sugar because you know sugar's bad. It's real bad. But your friend is jacked and looks amazing, or your friend over here, she looks incredible, but she has the cake. It's not making any sense. She has sugar and she looks better than me. Why is that happening? Is it because everything in moderation? No, it can't be. It's too simple. It's too simple. You can enjoy your diet and still accomplish your fitness goals because that's sustainable. No. It's the sugar. It's the sugar. You have to pick the exact problem. It's the same thing as if you eat a lot of burgers. Let's say you eat a ton of burgers. You eat 10 burgers a day, and it has lettuce in there. It's the lettuce fault. It's not the burger. It's not the extra calories. It's because there's lettuce in every burger you're eating. That's why you're gaining weight. That's the exact same issue that you're saying with sugar. You're over-consuming on foods that taste really good. Really good. And you overconsume on it. They're genetically engineered, not genetically engineered, they're engineered to taste good, so you overeat on the food. That's what America is. It's a corporation. People enjoy food. The whole world, it's a corporation. They want you to overconsume on food. So it tastes good. Portion control. That's it. Everything in moderation. I have cereal and yogurt for breakfast. The yogurt's a good protein. I don't spike my blood sugar as much, so I'm not as hungry after. And I love cereal, so I eat the cereal. I look like this year round, and I enjoy my diet. I don't fixate on food 24/7. I just don't understand this. It doesn't make sense. I don't like this at all.
Number 5, enhanced mood. So if you were grouchy before, you're now going to be a lot calmer, less stressed, and you're going to be actually nice to be around, okay? That's good.
I don't know. No. Personally, when I don't have sugar and I don't have my diet that I'm enjoying, I'm actually pretty much a pain in the butt. Because we go out to a restaurant, I have to ask about what menus, what do they serve, I have to plan all these meals, all these things because I can't have sugar. Oh my gosh. And I have to talk about it all the time. Do you know why I don't have sugar? Did you know? Oh, you notice my weight loss? It's because I don't have sugar. Oh, did you ask about my no sugar diet? Oh, let me tell you about it. No, not enjoyable.
Will improve. So you're going to feel more focused. You're going to have more concentration. You'll be less ADD, more attention to focus on your projects. Okay, number 6, your skin is going to look much better. You're going to have less acne. Your skin's going to glow. And that's just a reflection.
I review a bunch of diets on the internet. I know people go, come at me with my skin. I have eczema. Relax. I review all shapes and sizes. If you follow me on obhealth.fit on my Instagram, you guys know I've tracked plus size people, I've tracked really skinny people. I've tracked males, females, all genders, all races, everyone. I've done every different diet on earth. It's crazy that people that are extremely overweight tend to have beautiful skin. How's that possible? They have excess sugar, they have excess all these things. That makes no sense. I don't have that much sugar, shockingly. I always talk about how sugar is not that big of a deal. I don't have that much sugar. The only thing I have is sugar. It's the cereal in my breakfast. My skin is horrible. I have eczema, autoimmune disease. But, side note, having a generally clean diet that's just whole foods primarily, you can still enjoy sugar. If you have fruit, it's sugar, and it's not going to make your skin bad. Look at fruitarians. They have beautiful skin, gorgeous skin. They have only sugar in their diet. They only have carbs in their diet. How does that make any sense? It's mostly genetic and your gut health. If you have bad gut health, your skin's going to show. That's just unfortunately the truth.
Of what happens when you consume sugar, your insulin goes up, and also the hormone androgens, and we're talking about females, androgen will go up, and that's going to create acne. In a male body, the increased insulin will lower testosterone, so you're going to have other problems that are associated with low testosterone. All right, number 7, you have less stiffness. So you're going to have less inflammation. You're going to have less pain. So what's happening is all we're doing is we're converting your fuel.
This, I'll give it to them. Again, if you're in excess amount of calories, you have excess amount of carbs, you're going to be swollen from inflammation just from too much water retention in general. So I agree, if you're not in a caloric deficit, you're just overeating on food in general. Most Americans, they get 4,000 to 5,000 steps a day on average. If you're not moving a lot, you're not getting a lot of liquid, you're not getting your body to drain liquids by movement. You're just over consuming on food. Most average Americans are in a caloric surplus. So yeah, I agree.
From sugar to fat, it takes 3 days, okay, of cutting down the carbohydrates and the sugar. You may have a worsening of the symptoms for 3 days, okay? Guys, anyone can actually handle 3 days. And if you took some B vitamins from nutritional yeast and some potassium, you probably won't have any symptoms. So it's going to be relatively easy. At the cellular level, you're building new
I don't know what he's referring to. I don't know what this 3-day thing is.
enzymes to run your body off fat fuel, okay?
Oh, he's talking about ketones. Okay, got it. He's saying to run your body completely off ketones. So, little fun fact. If you don't have carbs in your system, no carbs, because I've learned sugar and carbs are one and one with him, but he just says the word sugar. When we know if you have rice, there's no sugar in rice, but inherently it's going to convert to glucose, the same thing as sugar. So we're all on the same page now, same page. If you run your body just off ketones and you eat in a caloric surplus, you, boy, oh boy, you're not going to lose any weight. You're actually going to gain some fat, substantial amount, and your body's going to look flat. Your muscle's not going to look good because it's flat. Bodybuilders, they do this thing called carb loading. It's a great thing. Before they hop on stage, they have so much sugar, they have so many carbs because they want their muscles to pop. That's what carbs do to your muscle. In moderation, they're amazing. They help in performance, they help mitigate fatigue, they actually increase ATP production, they actually make it so you have better muscle contractions in the gym, better contraction, more muscle gain, better performance in the gym. It's been shown if you have 20 to 50 grams of carbs before your workout, you actually have better performance. The list goes on and on. Carbs are amazing, amazing. But if you want to run off just ketos, little fun fact, there's a thing called gluconeogenesis. Big old word right there. If you have no carbs in your system and you just eat protein and fat, your body will convert proteins and fats into glucose because your body likes glucose so much. It will go into great lengths to convert those things into glucose. Not a good solution.
That's what's happening. You have little machines that are literally changing over to a different fuel source. That's what's happening over these 2 weeks. You're getting decreased inflammation in your arteries. Okay, that's what's happening when you get off sugar. Less inflammation. It's going to help you in the long run prevent a clot or plaquing and help reduce the risk of a stroke and a heart attack.
If you run an extremely high-fat diet, it has actually been proven to increase your odds of getting blood clots, increasing your LDL levels, not getting your HDL levels within range. No, I'm just gonna leave the video here. I can't. He infuriates me a lot because I've had clients come from people similar to him and they are so fearful of carbs. They're so fearful of these things. They lose the weight even. Some people have lost a ton of weight. Some people have lost 60 pounds doing the keto diet and intermittent fasting, because I know that he's intermittent fasting and keto. It's just two things. And they come to me and they gained all the way back, if not some more. Now they have a really unhealthy relationship with food and they didn't get any of the results. And that sucks. That really sucks. I used to be a flight instructor. I used to be a CFI pilot. I know, weird lore here. But as a pilot, the number one thing you want to teach your student, you want to teach them the why behind you do these things. You never want to just tell someone to do something. Because would you want a pilot that just flies the aircraft, has no idea what's going on, has no idea what lift is, has no idea how the plane even takes off the ground? Would you want that pilot, or do you want the pilot that knows how to do every single procedural thing? There's a thing called RUAC, a good acronym. RUAC. Rote, understanding, application, correlation. These are the 4 steps of learning something. So someone can just regurgitate. And this is what a lot of coaches do with their clients. They do a meal plan, or they tell them don't have sugar, or just don't eat this, don't eat that. If you do carnivore, you're only allowed to eat meat. If you do keto, you're not allowed to have carbs. If you do intermittent fasting, you can only eat for a small window. If you eat outside this window, you're going to gain fat. So you learn, okay, if I do these things, I know I won't gain weight. So if I cut carbs out, I won't gain weight. So you lose the results, and then you eat the carbs again, and you're back to square one. Boy, oh boy, does that suck. A coach tells you to follow a meal plan. You get great results. You're kind of bored of the meal plan now. You're not working together anymore. You're not paying them anymore. So now you eat normal, and you gain all the weight back. Oh, that sucks. That really sucks. You just spent like $3,000 to learn nothing. You got results. The coach got a great testimonial, but you're back to square one and just out $3K. That doesn't feel good, does it? So this is what I learned as a flight instructor. I explain everything. I don't do meal plans. I don't do any of that. I meet you where you're at. I don't make a 180 in your life. I meet you where you are. Say you eat chicken and rice, the bro meal everyone eats, that you hear, oh, chicken and rice, the healthiest thing every bodybuilder eats. I would say, hey, I noticed you're a little low in your vitamin A today. You're not really getting your omega fats. Maybe rather than that, let's try to do some chicken thigh. It's a little more dense in omega fats. Let's do a little quinoa as well. It's a complete protein. It's a good carb source. Has a lot of fiber. You're not going to spike your glucose nearly as much, or insulin as much. You're going to feel a lot more full because that gut health comes from that fiber. You're getting a little vitamin A if you throw a little sweet potato or carrot on the side. Seems like a complete meal right there. And that's how we do our meal plan. I meet you where you're at. We make substitutions. We don't eliminate any food, substitute, or add on. So chicken and rice, maybe add some sweet potato. Adds that fiber and vitamin A. Don't need a substitute. That's how an actual coach is a coach. You meet them where you're at. You teach them the why. You explain why you do things. And this is why I don't like creators like this. Because so many creators, 19 million people now, are fearing carbs and sugar. Not sustainable. Fitness is a solved game. We have so much research. It doesn't have to be painful. You don't have to be masochistic about it. You don't have to hate your body. You don't have to hate these things. You don't have to hate go to the gym. You don't have to hate your diet to look amazing. It's the way of the past. It's not easy, but it is simple. And I'm gonna make another video about you, doctor. I'm gonna make a lot of videos about you. I have a whole list of things that you've made on short form content that we'll get into. Comment down below any creators or any myths that you want me to debunk. Please like and subscribe. I'm gonna start uploading a lot more consistently, but thanks for watching.